What does it mean when someone doesn't post photos on social media? Because some people post everything, photos of their food, their face, their life, their day, and others stay completely silent. If you post a lot, you've probably wondered what is going on with people who never post photos. And if you don't post at all, you may have wondered, well, what does this say about me? Because not posting photos is not random, and posting constantly isn't either. Both are psychological signals. And today we are talking about the psychology of digital silence and what it reveals about identity, confidence, and the need to be seen. Hi everyone, I'm Esther Bartkiw. For over 21 years, I have helped people develop a deep, quiet inner confidence that doesn't rely on being validated by the outside world by focusing on their core beliefs. If you appreciate content that supports your personal and spiritual growth journey, please like this video and share it with a friend. All right, let's get into it because this is a super interesting topic to me. Your digital behavior is always a signal. Whether we like it or not, everything we do online is a signal. Posting is a signal. Not posting is also a signal. And silence is not absence. Silence communicates something. In psychology, behavior is always information. And in the digital world, behavior becomes identity language. When someone floods social media with selfies and photos of meals, workouts, sunrises, every moment of their day, that is a signal. And when someone stays quiet, that is also a signal. Now, the mistake people make is assuming that they already know what those signals mean, because there is a common misinterpretation. A lot of people say something like, well, that person doesn't post photos because they're insecure. They don't like how they look. They must think that their life is boring. They're hiding something. Or they have a high-profile job and don't want to get doxxed. And yes, sometimes all of that can be true. But psychology isn't about assumptions. It is about patterns and motivation. And here is what is rarely talked about. For many people, not posting has nothing to do with low confidence. It has to do with deep internal grounding. From the lens of modern psychology, modern culture has blurred the line between living and performing. At some point, experience became something to be documented instead of felt. And when someone doesn't post photos, often what they're saying without words is, my experience is complete without having an audience. Now, that's not avoidance, that's containment. Their sense of self is not strengthened by being mirrored back online. They don't need the moment to be witnessed for it to be real. And that's a very different psychological posture than insecurity. Now, let's look at this subject of not posting from a philosophical lens and the material of Alan Watts. Alan Watts is a British-born philosopher, writer, and speaker, and he gives us the language for what's happening underneath the surface in this situation. Watts often spoke about the ego as the part of us that wants to be recognized, named, and confirmed. The ego asks, do you see me? Do I matter? Am I real to you? And social media is a perfect playground for that question. When someone is constantly posting, they're not bad, broken, or shallow. They're asking for existential and external confirmation. And when someone doesn't post, sometimes what is happening is this: they already feel real. Their identity isn't dependent on reflection. And that's not superiority. It's just simply a different relationship to self. Digital silence is quiet confidence. Quiet confidence doesn't announce itself. It doesn't say, look at me not posting. It doesn't need to do that. People who are comfortable not posting often feel anchored in who they are. They don't experience urgency to explain themselves. They don't need proof of a meaningful life. They separate experience from exposure, and their nervous system doesn't equate attention with safety. That point is huge, so let me say it again. Their nervous system doesn't equate attention with safety. But let's be clear, not posting isn't always confidence, and this piece matters. Some people don't post photos because they do feel ashamed. They're afraid of judgment. They're hiding parts of themselves. They don't feel worthy of being seen, and all of that is very real too. Psychology isn't about romanticizing the silence. It's about understanding why the silence exists. The difference is this. Is the silence coming from a place of deep grounding within or from fear? The body always knows and will always give you a tell if you are silent from self-worth or from fear. And I talked about this more in a video called Stay Silent After Disrespect. I'll put a link in the description box below. So what about people who do post photos? I am curious about this piece because I post a lot of photos on social media. I enjoy photography. I like sharing my views. I like showing people beautiful places in the world to inspire them to travel to. And I like the connection my photos bring. There's a difference between someone who posts travel moments, their photography, meaningful life updates with photos, or their creative expression, and someone who documents every meal, tracks every movement, needs constant engagement, feels anxious when a post doesn't perform, and that piece is key. One is sharing. The other is seeking regulation through attention. And again, no shame. When posting tips into notice me, validate me, reassure me, confirm me, that's not about expression anymore. That's about external validation. If you recognize yourself as someone who is constantly posting photos, looking for validation, attention, constantly refreshing the screen to see how many likes you have received, and you want to start to make change, here are 3 gentle self-validation practices. Number 1 is pause before posting and ask yourself, what am I hoping to feel after this? And what am I trying to achieve? If the answer is relief, reassurance, or self-worth, then pause. Number 2, create something privately. Take a photo no one's ever going to see. Write a journal entry that no one is ever going to read. Let something exist without witnesses and observe how you feel. If there is resistance, that will give you information. If you feel just fine doing this practice, notice what feels good about it and build on that feeling. And number 3, practice internal acknowledgement. Instead of posting the moment, say to yourself, this matters. I matter right here, right now. I don't need to post a photo. I validate the moment. And that is how self-validation grows. If this topic resonates with you, I have linked a couple of my favorite Alan Watts books in the description box below. They are powerful for understanding identity, ego, and selfhood more deeply. And if you want this kind of quiet confidence, the kind that doesn't need external validation, this is the work that I have been doing for over 2 decades, helping people turn inward, uncover the limiting beliefs driving that validation seeking, and build a grounded sense of self that doesn't depend on being seen. If you're interested in working with me, I've put a link below in the description box. And if we have never done sessions before, please email me first before booking so we can discuss the right and perfect next step for you. Oh, and before you go, check out the video that's popping up on your screen right now. It is a very nice complement to what we have talked about here today.